Hi there, my name's Matthew, and today I'm happy to introduce you to the game Final Fantasy XIV, A Realm Reborn. What I'd like to do is basically cover the opening, creation of a character, and how to play this game. It's considered to be an MMO, which means a massively multiplayer online game. Used to be MMORPG, role-playing game, but I think they've shortened it now to just MMO. So first things first, when you start up the game, you might want to adjust your graphics settings. So if we go to display settings, you'll have an option between full screen and borderless windowed. Now the benefit of borderless windowed is that you can Alt-Tab over to something like a website and back to the game very quickly. If you do full screen mode and hit apply, when I go to switch, it's going to be a black screen for a bit and a black screen for a bit before I can get back into the game. And so I find that a bit annoying, so what I like to do is just have borderless windowed on for that purpose. For the UI settings, you can really decide this based on your own personal preference. If you have a very big screen, sometimes if you're sitting on the couch playing with a controller, you might want the resolution for the user interface to be very, very high. Personally, I find it best when it's just regular sized. Next, we'll go down here where it says frame rate, and if you have a specific frame rate that you want, you can tell the game to render at just that frame rate. If you go unlimited, you'll get a huge frame rate potentially if your computer's quite fast, but it won't really benefit you in any way. It'll just make the computer run hot because your display refresh rate is what matters the most here. You can see here when I activate that it drops down to 60 or 59. And that's what my refresh rate is on my monitor. So we're going to leave that alone and go to graphics settings. And here you have a simple drop-down list of the different settings you can pick for the game on a computer. And I've chosen high desktop because it seems to be a nice balanced way of getting good graphics without having frame rate issues. For UI resolution, I recommend high, especially if you're playing on a high resolution. If we go back to our display, we can see that I'm playing at 1440p resolution, but I could also play it up to 4K resolution if I wish, based on my monitor's capabilities, but I find that the game runs quite a bit slower at 4K resolution. So I would leave the settings at whatever your preference is for your device. If it's a laptop or a desktop, just pick that. And then we'll go on to sound settings. I've turned the master volume down a little bit just so that you can hear me over the sound of the game, but feel free to put this as loud as you want. And you can also adjust things like if you have a controller, do you want the controller to make sounds? And that's kind of cool. Going along to mouse configuration settings, you'll have an option here to change the cursor from normal to large to maximum, which is really just too big. So I prefer normal for me. And then gamepad settings, you can turn on vibration, you can use special types of controllers from a PlayStation, for example. You can configure the buttons. For theme, you can choose a whole variety of different colors. There's dark, light, classic, clear blue, clear white, green, and gray. I think the one I like the most is just something simple like a clear gray appearance. But clear blue is also very nice. And light is sort of an ivory beige color, which is also very clean and very nice. So you can pick this and adjust it any way you want. Next up, you're going to have some simple settings like time before you are appearing away from your keyboard. So for this one, it means that if you are inactive, if you're not playing on the computer for a while, it will just sort of time out and your character will stay logged into the game. You'll still be there, but it'll just put a notice on your character saying that you're away from your keyboard. So if anybody tries to interact with you, they know that you aren't there. For display limits, I wouldn't really adjust these settings too much. I think normal and automatic is fine. And for the idling camera settings, this is where if you're AFK, do you want the camera to look at other things like a screensaver used to do, where it would just change the camera image from moment to moment so that you don't get burn-in on your monitor. If you have an OLED monitor, that's a concern, but if you're just using a regular LED monitor, I don't think you need to worry about that. Then down here is the title screen displayed on launch. I have Realm Reborn set up because it loads very quickly and it's a very simple design, but you can tailor it to any expansion you've unlocked or tailor it to what your latest, what expansion your character is at most recently. Then there's accessibility settings. You can adjust the colors of things and visual alerts if you suffer from issues with your vision, color blindness, things like that. Okay, so I'm going to close this and we're going to go back to the game and we're going to hit start. And you also have an option here for a data center. Now, when you first begin playing, you'll have an option to create a character on a data center. And they have one for each region of the world, essentially. You can choose to play with people in Japan or Europe, down in Australia here, or North America. And since I'm on North America, I've chosen this data center called Dynamis. There's also Ether, Crystal, and Primal. Each data center has what's known as servers, and a server is a distinct version of the world with different people on it, and sometimes you get a bonus if you play on a preferred world. Sometimes you won't get a bonus, but you'll be on what they call a congested world, and you'll find that there are many players running around as compared to something that's preferred, which would be very few people running around. But to encourage people to move to this server, they give you bonuses. So if we proceed, we've picked our data center. We'll have a populated list of our characters at the character selection screen. Now, I'm on Rafflesia or Rafflesia, and as you can see, I've got 8 out of 8 characters. So I would have to create a brand new character. You do that by hitting the new character button in the top right. You can save data on each character if you wish to preserve someone's appearance. What that means is if I really like the way that this character looks, and I want to make a character that looks just like him, or a better example would be this character, Chunky Lardax. I like him a lot. I think he's a cool looking character, and I want to create a new character that looks just like him. So what I'll do is I'll hit Save Appearance Data, and I'll get a screen here, and I can go down to an empty spot and just type in Chunky's appearance and hit yes, and now my data is saved. So now if I go to New Character and load appearance data, I can pick all the characters I've made, and if I go to the most recent one, it'll say Chunky's appearance, and I can go from there. Now, if you just want to make a brand new character without any pre-made appearances, you can just hit Create a New Character and hit OK. That'll take you to this race and gender screen, where you can pick all the different races that the game has access to. If you own the latest expansion, you should have access to the Viera. I think you need Endwalker or Dawn Trail for that. And then as you go down the list, you needed Shadowbringers for the Hrothgar. You don't need them. You don't need that expansion anymore, as it's part of the free trial now. So I think as long as you have Endwalker or Dawn Trail registered, you'll have access to this race. Each race can be either male or female, and you can just click on the symbol here and then preview what the different races look like. And then when you pick a character, you'll also get an option of something like, here I'll show you. Let's say I've made a hire, which is like a human woman. Hit confirm, and then I'll get to pick a clan. Midlander or Highlander, and you can see the difference between the two. Midlanders a bit smaller with fairer skin. Highlanders are more muscular or taller, well built, like Xena Warrior Princess. And each of the different races and genders here have their own clan. So for example, this is an Elizin, a male, and you can be Wildwood or Dusk White, and you see here their appearance changes based on what clan you've chosen. So I like the Rogadin because they're very big, powerful characters, great for tanking because they're large, and people can tell immediately that you are a force to be reckoned with. You're the tank. For clan, you can do Hellsguard or Sea Wolves. So I guess we'll go with the standard Sea Wolves appearance. Now you can customize your character with a whole bunch of different settings. You can do height. Do you want them to be tiny or very, very big? Do you want them to have rippling muscles or just look kind of smooth? That's up to you. Is he tubby, or is he very, very muscular, like the Kingpin in Marvel Comics? You get to choose the face. Do you like any of these? We can go with... I guess this one is fine. And you can also preview down here facial features, such as giving him a beard or not, giving him a mustache or not. Does he have any battle scars? That's sort of a fun thing that you can do. And if you go back to faces, you can see what that looks like with the other characters. But for now, let's stick with him looking like this. Next up is the skin color. You can make him sort of a dark color, or green, or lighter. If you're having trouble deciding on the shading of the character, go down to the bottom right where it says environment and pick a different setting. This way you get to see what your character would look like in natural lighting. So he's a little bit green right now, like the Incredible Hulk, but maybe I want him to be more fair-skinned, or maybe more like a shale color, like stone. But for the sort of purposes of this demonstration, I guess we'll just go with something neutral. How about... There we go. Something right in between the top and the bottom. Hairstyle, there's a lot to pick from. If you like a certain hairstyle, you can right-click on it to pin it. Puts a little mark there, like a bookmark, so that you can highlight which ones you like the most. Go up here where it says Show Only Pinned Hairstyles and click on that, and it'll show the ones that you've bookmarked. So I'll take those off, and for this character we can have... Let's see what suits him, shall we? He looks kind of like a wacky professor this way. And you can scroll down and see all the different types. Guess we'll go with the first one. Hair color. You can have simple one color looks, or you can add highlights. so that if you want to have black hair with red tips, or black hair with blue tips or teal, you can absolutely do that. Next, we'll go to the jaw, which might be difficult to see because he has a beard. But we can see that it's really just affecting his cheekbones. Eye shape, again, very simple, straightforward. You can pick whatever eyes you think look better. Small eyes, big irises, and then the color of the eyes. Since we went with a blue theme, sort of watery, I can do a sort of a light green, or I can just do blue. Eyebrows, it's also affecting his sort of skeletal structure there around the eyes, so we'll go with type 4. For a nose, we'll give him a big nose. For a mouth, how about type 4? That's nice. Lip color is not usually something that you concern yourself with too much on a male character, but you can go for dark or light lips, or just do none, which is easier. I like the way he looks, but I don't like this tattoo he has, so we'll take that off. And then face paint, if you're the kind of person who really likes tattoos, you can put little markings on the character's face. And then voice. So I'll turn up my volume a little bit so I can hear the voices. Ho ho ho! We'll go with this one, I guess. Number 2. Sort of a fun Andre the Giant style laugh. We hit confirm and then it asks us if we want to save our appearance data. For this example, I'm going to say no. Then it's going to ask his date of birth. So you have 12 months here to pick from, and it's really has no effect on gameplay. It's just for role-playing purposes. So let's say June 24th for his birthday. And then the patron deity. Now, when the game first came out, you used to get some stat bonuses for picking a certain deity that you were affiliated with or born under. But that doesn't count anymore. Since he's a sea wolf, Limlane is the watcher of the seas and goddess of navigation, so I think I'll go with that for him. Next, you'll be presented with an option for your class. Do you want to be a tank character, a healer, or a DPS? So essentially, a DPS means damage per second, and it refers to a class that is their sole purpose is to inflict damage on enemies. That's their only consideration. So they'll get cool looking weapons, flashy effects, and they'll get to have magic spells, all kinds of things like that. Healer is pretty self-explanatory. If you pick a conjurer, for example, you get to heal people and cast spells that protect your party. It's typically for somebody who wants to do dungeons or raids. They'll pick this class so that they can work with others and keep them fighting fit in a battle. If you're playing by yourself and you don't really want to do dungeons or raids that much, DPS is a fine choice, as is tank, because tanks are the ones who have the most health, who take the least amount of damage. You can be a gladiator, which uses a sword and a shield, or you can be a marauder, which uses a big heavy axe. Now, if you've noticed in the bottom left, it also shows you which area you'll start in, a city. So a gladiator will start in Ulda, which is a desert city. Marauder will start in Limsa Lominsa, which is a capital city by the water, to do with boats and things. And then if you're a healer, you start in Gridania, which is a forest area. And I can show you what that looks like. You'll start here out in the forest. And Ulda, if you're a tank and you're a gladiator, you'll start here, out in the desert. So for the purposes of this example, I'll make this character a marauder so that I start in Limsa Lominsa, which is one of the most popular capital cities. Next, you have to choose a world. So that pop-up there gave me a recommended world, but you can choose one as well, whatever you think is best for your play style. Do you have friends who are already playing the game? You might want to join their server. Do you want to play on a very populated server with a lot of people? Well, pick one of the servers without a star. If you want to play and get an experience bonus to your character, then I recommend picking a world with a star next to it. These are low population servers that would really benefit from new players. So we'll go to Choo Choo Lane, because I like saying that, and it's a preferred world with a star next to it. Now you'll have to come up with a character name, and this is the hardest thing you'll have to do in character creation. There are so many different names that you can come up with. You have to have a first name and a last name. So you can use the randomize button, which thankfully comes up with a name for you. But sea wolves have a very strange naming convention system. You can see the names they come up with, like Zernberg, Herskiswabson. It's very strange. It doesn't roll off the tongue for me, who someone who speaks English natively. It's not something easy for me to pronounce. So what you can do is come up with a name that you feel is appropriate. Like I could call him the Big Bopper, or maybe he's going to be a goldsmith or a miner, so I could call him Big Nugget. Or you could make a joke that he's a very large character, so you could call him Mr. Teeny. So let's go with Mr. Teeny and hit confirm, and it's going to tell me if I can start the game with this name, or it'll tell me that the name's been taken. But luckily, Mr. Teeny is available, so let's go ahead and accept that. If we are happy with all of these settings, we can hit OK. If we decide that we don't like some aspect of the character, we can hit cancel. It will still allow me to keep all of this information, but I can edit his appearance. So if I really just want a different hair color, I can make him look pink instead, or maybe I want it to be white. That's an option I can do. So just hit the check mark down there, and it'll ask you if you want to save your data again, and you can say yes or no. Let's say we're happy with all of these settings, so we'll hit confirm. Start a new game. Now it's going to play an opening cutscene, which will explain some basics of the game, good and evil, that kind of stuff. But unfortunately, whether or not you're on a congested server or a preferred one, you're always going to have this little pop-up here that says the server is currently congested. And you have to wait for your turn to be admitted into the game. It's unfortunate. I don't know why it's always backed up like this, even in the early hours of the day or at night. It just seems to be a feature of the game. You just have to live with it. It takes about 20 seconds to go away. So here we have the opening of the game. It'll have a little cutscene introducing your character with magic and mystery and such. And you'll also get a little cutscene where you're on a carriage heading to your preferred city, or maybe you're on a boat. You'll get some introduction to the world you're in, and some dialogue choices as well. But for the purpose of this example, I'm going to hit the escape button and skip, so that we can get straight into the game. So this is what you'll see when you start the game. You'll get a brief introduction to the city you're in, and it'll ask you what you want to use to play the game, a gamepad or a mouse and a keyboard. And since we're playing on a On a Windows computer, I'm going to pick mouse and keyboard. And then it's going to show me some basic controls here, how to move, how to look around, that sort of thing. Now, what I like to do is to turn off a lot of chat windows and pop-ups. So what you do is you hit escape, or you click down here where it says system, and you'll go to character configuration. Then you'll be presented with a set of options here to change up how the game works for you. So you'll want to start with items and go down here where it says sort method and say sort items into sections based on category. This is just a nice way to organize your inventory. So as you pick up items, they get sorted so that they're not all over the place. Presently, I don't have anything in my inventory except these feathers, which you can trade for items, but it's just something to have. I recommend you set that up so that you can right-click and hit sort, and it will clean up your inventory bags for you. Next, we have UI settings. You'll want to navigate down to where it says help and leave these things checked, because they'll show you information about items. Like when I mouse over this feather, I get a little pop-up that tells me what the feather is. But you'll want to change next to cursor to fixed reversed, because that way if you're trying to look at things up on your screen here, it won't take over the screen and block your view of things up in front of you. You can see that it's put it in the bottom left or it's put it in the bottom right. So I can still see the description, but it's not taking up that portion of the screen over here where the mouse is. Active help windows can be useful for new players as they describe things in the game, like how to talk to people, how to pick up a quest, things of that nature, but I find that they can be a bit overwhelming and they pop up very, very frequently, very constantly when you're doing anything. So I like to turn them off. Recommendations tell you what you could be doing in the game if you need some assistance on where to go or what to do, like a dungeon or a quest. I like to turn that off because it takes up my screen when I load in. The play guide is also valuable if you want to look up a manual on the different aspects of the game, but I don't need it popping up when I first play the game. When I log into my character, I want it to be a nice, clean, empty screen, so I like to turn that off. Next, you've got display name settings. Do you want your character's name to always be there, or do you want to turn it off so that it only shows up when you're targeted? I like it this way, less clutter on the screen, and you don't get to, you don't have to worry about your name being there all the time. Hotbar settings. This is very important. You have access to several different hotbars. You can have up to 10. And what I like to do is have, and then this is essentially the shape of the hotbars. You can have it long like this, or you can make it so that it's, I'll put it up here as an example. You can have it condensed, even more condensed, vertical. Do you like it top down like that? For the purposes of this example, we're going to just have it as a regular basic size. I like to add a third hotbar so that I can organize my abilities a bit easier, and a fourth one which I like to have in the shape of something like this so that I can put utility items there. So potions, food, teleporting, sprinting, returning, the play guide. I can put all of these things over here on the bar, and I can easily access them if I need to. This little symbol here is a lock, and what it means is when it's locked, you can't move any of these items off the screen by accident. If it's unlocked, you're free to pick them up and drag them wherever you want and put them down so that you can organize your bars. Lastly, we have log window. This is your chat log in the bottom left, and it's very tiny, as you can see. In the top right corner, you've got a little symbol here where you can click and drag. Make it however big or as little as you want. And then what happens here is you'll be given an option here for the font size. 12 means that you type like this, and it's quite small. If you make it 14 or higher, it's also, I think, fairly small, but a little bigger, and you can make it even bigger if you wish. If you go to log details, you'll see that the first one, general, has an option for font size. That's this text here in this window. You can click and you can adjust it and make it so that the text is larger and easier to read. If you're playing on a large monitor or a higher resolution, I say 14 to 16 is good. If you play at 4K resolution, you might want it to go all the way up to 18. But for the purposes of this demonstration, I'm going to keep it at 14. And those are all the settings that you need to worry about when you first start playing the game. I'm going to go and talk to this character, and that little pop-up there let me know that a new tutorial has opened teaching me how to initiate quests. If I want to click on that, it'll bring up the active help window and give a brief little explanation as to what that symbol means. Basically, if you've played other role-playing games, you'll know that this symbol means that he'll give you a quest, and quests usually give you a reward. So, you click on him, it'll give you a window popping up telling you what the quest level is, which is 1, and I'm level 1, so that's appropriate. If it were a level 10 quest and I was level 1, it wouldn't let me accept it. I'd have to get to that level before I could start that quest. So we're going to hit accept. It's going to play a little cutscene here where the character talks to me. And you notice that the font here is a little small, a little bit difficult to read perhaps. Well, you can't skip this opening cutscene and you can't adjust the size of the font just yet. So what you'll want to do as a tip is wait for him to finish talking. It'll tell you that your quest has been accepted. It'll pop up on the right side of the screen here telling you what your quest is called and who you have to go and talk with. If you get lost or confused, you can click on that quest and it'll bring up a little journal that tells you with a description what you need to do. And if you click on the map button, it'll even show you a little symbol. You're the blue cursor here, and this symbol that's sort of highlighted, coming to Limsa Lominsa, shows you that that's where you need to go to continue this quest. Now, as a tip, if you talk to them again, and then come down here and right-click on the window, you can hit Scale Window, and then adjust the size. I find that 120% is a very nice, readable level. 140 is also very clean, so we'll leave it at that, and then head over to start our quest. So now we've covered turning off the pop-ups, the active help windows, adjusting our hotbars, and things of that nature. What I want to talk about next is collecting mail. And you can see in the top right, I have the time of day, the name of my server, and a little envelope icon telling me that I have a new letter waiting for me. So let's finish this opening quest so that I can start exploring the world. And what you'll get is a cutscene where the character will introduce himself to the Adventurers Guild character Baderon, and he'll say something like, "Welcome to the guild, have a drink, let's get adventuring." But I'm going to skip this cutscene and leave it for you to explore. I'm going to complete the quest, And because we're on a preferred world, I'll get a level boost. I'm now level 3, which is wonderful. Now, to continue, you'll want to do these quests here that have a exclamation mark, blue background, and a ring of fire around it. That means it's a main story quest. These are required to get through the game and unlock features, mounts, dungeons, new cities, new places to explore, new party members to unlock. If you get lost and you don't know what to do next, in the top left you'll see a little quest thing that says Close to Home, your next main scenario quest. If you click on that, it'll show you on a map where you can go to pick up that quest. So if you've forgotten to collect the quest and you've gone to a different screen, you can click up here and it'll tell you where you need to go to come back and get that quest. Underneath is a tiny quest that says Way of the Marauder. And if you click on that, it'll tell me up at the Marauders Guild there's a blue quest for me. And blue quests unlock features of the game. Yellow quests, like the one over there, just are fun to do. They can flesh out the world with some information. Maybe they give you some equipment you can wear, but they're not necessary to do. They're just there for some extra money or something to pass the time with. When you're leveling up early on, you might want to do some of these side quests because they grant you equipment you can use for your level. But if you're on a preferred world with an EXP boost, and experience is what you need to level up, you'll find that the gear they give you is quickly out of date. And you can go to a shop and purchase gear for your level range, and that's perfectly acceptable to do. And in fact, on a preferred world, you can get by just by doing the main story quests. You get levels, you get items, you get experience, and you don't need to really do any of these side quests if you don't want to. So we're going to click on his quest. He's going to launch a cutscene where he tells us to go out into the world and explore. I'm going to skip that cutscene, and then it's going to have me talk with this character over here, Ninia, who has a quest called Making a Name. So I'll go over here and I'll speak to this little fellow. I'll accept his quest, and this is telling me I'll get 50 experience points and some items, 2 potions and 10 earth shards if I complete this quest. Also, you can left click to skip through dialogue. You don't have to click on this chat window. You can just click anywhere on the screen and it will continue the dialogue for you. Next, it wants me to talk to the lift attendant, to go down to the Bulwark Hall, take the crow's lift. From here, I've got some items on the ground to collect. And once we've collected all of these items, we'll be able to complete the quest. And while you're here, you won't be attacked by monsters. You're in what's called a sanctuary city, where other players and monsters cannot harm you. You can't have a duel or a fight, and you don't have to worry about a monster showing up and attacking you while you're having a nap or crafting something. So we'll talk to this character. He's going to pop up a window here where he wants a particular herb. This one is called Peculiar Herb. So if you right click on this, you'll be able to highlight the item and left click, or you can drag and drop from the inventory screen and then hit hand over. He'll tell you a little bit more about that and let you complete the quest. Now he has a quest that you can do, but as you can see, I already have a list of objectives to complete on the right side of the screen. The main story quest, called Close to Home, has 3 objectives. They want me to go to the Marauders Guild, they want me to go to the markets, and they want me to interact with this giant crystal here in order to attune myself to the world. what that does is it allows me to teleport here if I'm out and exploring the world. So you'll have a little cutscene here where one of the guards will come over and talk to you and explain how these crystals work. You have access to a spell called Return, which is down here. Because you're just starting out, you won't have access to teleport yet, but you will be able to use Return. And what that does is if you're out in the world, you get lost, you want to come back to town, just click this button and your character will magically transport right back here to where I'm standing. This is very valuable if you need to get around quickly. And unlike Warcraft, you don't have to take griffins to get around. You don't have to get a mage to open up a portal and take you to a city. If you've been to a town and you've attuned yourself to the main crystal, you can teleport back there anytime you want. Okay, so I said before that I wanted to talk about mail, and something that I really recommend for everybody is the Adventurer's Kit that you can purchase from the store. So I'll go over here to the online store for Final Fantasy XIV. It's called the Mog Station, and or just the online store, I suppose. You'll want to click on here where it says Value Bundles, and then you'll want to look at the Adventurer's Supply Kit. What this does is it gives you an emote, a Fantasia potion, an umbrella or parasol, aetheryte tickets, and a magical earring that increases the amount of experience you earn. That's very valuable. It allows you to get experience boosted by 30% up to level 80. The Fantasia potion is a special drink that lets you change your appearance. You go back to the character creation screen and you can change your character to look like any race, any gender, whatever you want to do. And you can take that potion, and normally they're $10 a piece. So getting it here, you get it plus a whole bunch of other goodies. The aetheryte tickets are wonderful because it allows you to travel freely with a teleport spell. If you are out and about in the world and you want to go to a specific town that you've unlocked, and you haven't bound yourself there with the return spell, you can teleport there for a small fee. And the fee varies based on distance, but what you'll want to do is use these tickets and they'll send you where you need to go for free. And this gives you 99, so it's like 99 coupons to travel for free. It's a very good adventuring kit, and it's account-wide, which means that every character you create from then on will have the Adventurer's Kit. So since I've purchased that kit for myself in the past, I'm going to go here to the Drowning Wench, and I'm going to go to the mail carrier, and I will show you how you collect mail. I'm going to speed up my character using Sprint. This is a quick 20-second boost that lets you run a little bit faster. After 20 seconds, your character will jog. As long as he doesn't enter combat, he'll still move at a faster pace. So here we have a couple of people waiting at the delivery Moogle. He's a little character that delivers the mail for you. Instead of a mailbox, you have a little furry creature that brings letters to you. So talk to him. He'll give you an explanation of why he's there and why he delivers mail. And then it's going to show you a populated list of all the letters waiting for you to look at. So if you click through them, you can see that some are clothing items that you unlock for playing the game. Some are, in this case, items from purchasing the collector's edition of the game. More costumes. This is a minion that I unlocked by purchasing a special book for the game. And then here is my earring for pre-ordering one of the game expansions. But if you've noticed, my Adventurer's Kit has not arrived yet. So what I'm going to do is click on Reward Delivery Request. It's going to ask me if I want to confirm. It will ask the Moogle to double check and see if I have any more letters waiting for me. Now, for the Adventurer's Kit, mounts, minions that you purchase from the store, they take up to an hour before they are delivered to your character. You need to be playing the character for about an hour before they show up. Sometimes you can talk to the Moogle and have him send out your reward sooner than that, but a lot of the times you just have to wait. And that's not such a bad thing considering you can't use mounts right away, but the Adventuring Kit would be very helpful to have. So while you wait for that mail to show up, you can go and do other things on your list of objectives. As you complete an objective, it'll become grayed out, and then what's highlighted is what's left to do. On the mini-map, you can see that there's a little icon, and when I mouse over it, it says close to home, and that's telling me which direction I should head in to get my quest complete. And over here on the map is a little miniature crystal, an aetheryte shard. If you attune yourself to these little shards that are throughout the world and throughout the city, it will allow you to fast travel to different areas of the town. So if I right click on it, everything that is full color I can travel to, and everything that's grayed out are areas I haven't visited yet. So let's continue up on our way. I'll activate sprint, although it looks like my character is jogging, so I don't have to worry about that right now. But I can activate it just to boost the speed just a little bit more. I think jog and sprint are very similar. So presently I'm heading towards the Marauders Guild, and you can see on the map I'm the blue icon there. That's where the guild is, that's where I am. I'll attune myself to the shard. There we go. These people with a blue name are other players that you might encounter. And people with a green name here and here are NPC characters, non-player characters. So they can give you quests, they can talk to you if you click on them with a little message, or sometimes they don't have anything at all and they're just background characters. So here's the guild receptionist. If you talk to him, he'll explain what the Marauders Guild is and its history. Basically, you have a big axe and you like to beat up monsters, and that's essentially all you need to know. So if you accept the quest, he'll have you go over and talk with the main guild master. You'll have a cutscene play where he explains to you more about the guild, and then ask you if you wish to, are you prepared for carnage? And you can say yes. Yes, I am. Now he's going to ask me to go out into the world and defeat monsters, which is one of the core things to do in this game. You can defeat all these different types of monsters in order to complete the quest. If you left-click on the blue text, it'll bring up a map showing you where you need to go to fight these monsters. So it looks like Middle Lanasia is where we need to go, but I haven't been there yet. So what we can do is we have to go there. We have to, we can do this two ways. We can either collect all of the Ethernet shards that are in the city, which will allow us to teleport outside the city for free, or we can go there ourselves. So we want to proceed to the Bulwark Hall, and if you turn to the right and go forward, it will show you your path to Middle Anasia is this way. Once you're through, it'll say Middle Anasia. You'll get an achievement for unlocking this area. You'll get some experience points, and you'll see a whole bunch of stuff on your minimap. Now, on the top right, you've got a circle here that's orange, and it tells you an approximate area that you'll need to go to get your monsters, to fight your monsters. This is where they'll typically hang out. I think if you open up your main map, you'll also see a name of the quest and an area that you can go to find these monsters. The monsters you have to defeat will have a little Q and a plus sign above their head. So if we go up to them and we click on Heavy Swing, which is our only ability, your character will attack. And auto attack will turn on too, where your character will automatically engage the target. This is considered a special ability, and while you're attacking, you can activate it, but you'll have to wait a few seconds before you can do it again. A good player will try to do a combination of auto attacks and use your abilities. As you fight, the enemy's health goes down and down until it's gone. Then you get some experience, shown by this meter at the bottom. It fills up as you play. Once you've defeated enough characters, it'll fill up on the right side here in the quest, little quest icon, and it'll say you've slain wharf rats. You don't have to kill any more of them now. The little Q and plus sign is gone from them, but you have ladybugs to defeat. Now when I defeat this character, it's going to level me up to level 4. Congratulations, you've leveled up. You've learned a new spell. This one's called Maim, and it's highlighted. Now, this is what they call a combo action. What it means is if you start by doing Heavy Swing on a target, you can follow it up with the ability that's glowing to do a more powerful attack. So now you can do 1 and then 2. And if you saw there on the middle of the screen and down here, I collected some items. So if we go to, I think it's character and inventory, or you can press the I key on your keyboard, it brings up the inventory panel. You have a ram's horn and mutton loin. Now, what are these? They're crafting items. If you learn a crafting profession, you can combine these items or use them in different ways to make food or clothing or weapons or tools. In the bottom left, it tells you a description of what the item is. Also, you can see there the shop selling price. If you don't want to go out and fight monsters to get these items, you can purchase some of them at a merchant in town. But, as you can see, I only have 103 gil, which is not very much in the world of Final Fantasy. So you'll need a lot more money, which you get by doing quests and adventuring, crafting items and selling them too. Now this is a giant monster. He's level 12. I'm level 4. I have no chance of defeating him. But he's not red. If he is red up here instead of a sort of a blue icon, it means that he'll actively attack me out in the open. If I get too close to him, he'll smack me with his big arms and defeat me right away. These lambs and these goobos don't have that symbol on them, so they're safe. Means that I can walk right past them without getting attacked. Over here are some goblins, and even though they're a higher level than me, they're not aggressive. That means that I can walk over to them and sit by their fireplace, and they won't attack me. I can hang out with them like friends. But if I do want to attack them, I just have to click on them and hit one of my abilities. Okay, so all I have left to do is to finish off 2 more lambs, And if I open my map, it shows me that I'm traveling towards the last location, which is this orange circle here. I can't sprint again because it's on a cooldown. That's what they call it when your abilities can't be used until they're ready. Here's a lost land, level 3, so let's keep fighting. Okay, great. And I need one more. Okay, now it's going to update with a check mark, and it's going to say report to the Axe Master Wern Zoen at the Marauders Guild. So since I don't have teleport yet, and let's say I don't want to bother walking over there, going back to town, I can just hit the return button. It'll confirm where I want to go, which is where I bound myself at Limsa Laminsa. I've teleported back to the city. Now it's on cooldown for 900 seconds. It's going to take a while before you can do it again. Left click, or right click I should say, you'll want to right click on the Aetheryte, go to the Ethernet, and that will show you what areas you've unlocked and what areas you have not. If I click on Marauders Guild, you can see that's where the check mark is. And if I click on this Ethernet shard, it'll teleport me right there. So instead of having to take the elevator, go through the bar, and walk all the way up here, I can just teleport directly. Now I can hand in the quest, and he'll say, "Congratulations, you've done a good job. Your next quest will be available at level 5. He's also given you some food, some marmot steak. If you eat this food, you can see on the bottom right there that it'll increase your vitality, your hit rate, and your skill speed, and give you a small EXP bonus of 3% if you eat this food." So, in the inventory, we'll go to Marmot Steak and we'll hit use. And it'll now increase my health, give me the well-fed status for 30 minutes, and improve my attributes. If you bring up the character panel, which is the letter C, and you've played a game like Dungeons & Dragons before, or other role-playing games, you'll have a list here that's very familiar with a description of your attributes and different properties and abilities that you have. So, for a Marauder, strength is very important. It affects how much damage you do. Vitality is how many hit points you have. Basically, a measure of how many hits you can take from an enemy before your character perishes. Intelligence and mind are for casting spells, which is not very valuable for a Marauder. What's over here is a little picture of your character and the items and equipment your character is wearing right now. Something very helpful is a button up here that says recommended gear. If you click that, it'll give you a list of what you're wearing right now and what the game recommends that you wear in order to optimize your character's loadout. So it suggests the Ring of Freedom. So if you hit equipped, it'll show up right there and your item level will increase. The higher level your clothing is, the higher this number gets, and certain dungeons and quests might require you to have a certain item level before you can enter and do that quest. This is my weapon. You can see on the bottom right that it's level 1, and it has some descriptions of what it is, who makes it, a blacksmith, the selling price, it's 94 gil to buy one, but it's level 1 and my character is level 5. So you'll want to visit a merchant and you'll want to put on a more powerful weapon. But because I don't have much money, I would rely more or less on quests to give me the gear I need. If I right-click on him, you can see that the reward for doing his quest is 1,400 experience points, which is more than enough to level me to level 6. And also he'll give me a bronze war axe, which is a level 5 axe. And you can see from the description that it's 223 gil, so I couldn't afford it even if I wanted it. But doing this quest, he'll give it to me for free. My physical damage will improve by 3 points, and my strength goes up by 1. I'll also get to pick an item from this list here, a chest piece, or an eye patch, gloves, or boots, or maybe just a little bit of money. You can trade these tin pieces in for gil. And the more gil you have, the happier you'll be. So, for the purposes of this tutorial, I think I've covered pretty much everything you need to get started. I'll make another video exploring how to complete the main story quest, how to buy gear from a merchant, and how to level up and start doing dungeons and getting mounts and all that other fun stuff. So thanks so much for watching, and stay tuned for part 2. Have a great day.